on a team of 21 right now for Validate. It's a pretty big team. It's a crazy big team for indie games. But who is your team? Validate has a team of mostly all people of color. We have no white people on our team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment. And I know the best way for an environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me. And I'm not saying that white people in the industry are creating unsafe environments. I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying that sometimes it is hard to work with white people because they think that something made okay, but it was really a microaggression. And no one wants to deal with that while they're trying to make a game that they love.
Yeah, so that's completely racist. And then what it actually is a microaggression? Like, is that just literally just when, let's get smart then. Microaggression is a term used for commonplace verbal, behavioral, or environmental slights, whether intentional or unintentional, that communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative attitudes toward stigmatized or culturally marginalized groups. The term was coined by Harvard University psychiatrist Chester M. Okay, so say you could get microaggressions. It's anything. It doesn't even have to be in terms of it being racist or not. But when you're straight up just saying you don't want a certain type of people working in your environment, then that's literally racist if you're going off of their skin color. And she directly says it wasn't trying to be racist. And I don't think that you don't necessarily need them to be black people in order to develop the game appropriately, right? So no, you don't necessarily need that. And then even that was like the biggest case before, like when black people couldn't go into certain work environments. You're cutting out certain sections of talent just because of their skin color, which is kind of weird. And the fact that you might think that they might have some type of attitude. You can still have attitude or some type of people that would come in and then mess up your team's vibe anyways. They don't have to necessarily be black or white or Asian, Latino or whatever. They could still come in and just ruin your project or mess up the whole vibe. But what you're saying is exactly racist. Because if you flipped that, right? So if you flip exactly what she's saying, like, oh, let's just go through
right now for Validate. It's a pretty big team. It's a crazy big.
And just like for context, this lady is not, it says like lead developer of EA's new Black Panther game. She's working for a sub division, Cliffhanger Games. Like she's working for them. But I mean, she's still obviously on the team. And it's just bad for these teams to be like, or leads of these teams to even be stating this type of stuff. Hence all the backlash anyways.
Big team for indie games. But who is your team? Validate has a team of mostly all people of color. We have no white people on our team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment. And I know the best way for an environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me.
So imagine if like a white person said that. I always just try to like flip it around a little bit because you got to see it from the other side. So it's like, oh
yeah, we have a team of all white people. And then I want to be safe because I just want all white people around me so that I feel safe and then there's no microaggressions from these black people.
You know, like how bad that would turn out. So, that would be hilariously bad. Oh my God, if somebody said that.
And I'm not saying that white people in the industry are creating unsafe environments. I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying that sometimes it is hard to work with white people because they think that something made okay, but it was really a microaggression.
Yeah, I see what she's saying, but then like imagine, yeah. Like I'm not saying that black people cause problems. However, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so it's like a microaggression, so you might have attitude, but then that's like somebody just could be having a bad day or something. I do see where she's kind of coming from, but you can't always relate that directly to racism. Tell me what you think in the comments. Just because somebody has some type of attitude, you can't be like, oh, all black people. That just means that your depth of experience with that type of person isn't there fully. Like you haven't experienced black people, or you haven't experienced enough white people to just be like, oh, well, I'm just straight up not gonna hire any white people. It could be like a lot of cool white people that you're missing out on, or cool Latino, whatever race. It literally doesn't matter. People are just the people. And now you're cutting out sectors of talent that you could be having on your team that could help develop the game and really make it something. It doesn't necessarily need to be, you don't need to have like strictly black people on the team That's just directly racist. But if it was flipped, it'd be like a massive backlash. I could see it happening, because we see it all the time. Which I think, you know, as the progression starts to push in and then people start to weigh in like over time and stuff, as black people, we're taking definite control over these situations. But now it's like we're on the other end of it now, to where we're excluding all the other people. So it's like, it's definitely a flipped. We've taken the control of that, and now she's the lead, and then now she's being racist. Like, you can't do that. Oh, let's see what people are saying. Oh, so yeah. So then as we go and then we get more context of this whole situation. Let me fix this. So right here, it says the racist Black Panther dev is not the lead dev, and the interview is not about the Black Panther game. So obviously, once stuff is on the internet, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. She was obviously on a team of something. I just think we always take the bits and pieces of stuff, and then we just get like the lessons from it, and like how this stuff is kind of bleeding into regular societal norms and all that stuff. So like, think that it was okay to be like, I'm just gonna exclude all white people. You know, like, that's not good. So what she said was very, very racist. It's not in question and not what my post was about. Yeah, it's obviously racist. How the video and context circulating about your lead dev are deliberately misleading to make it seem like the Black Panther game is rotten. That's what other people were saying on that post too. Is like, oh, well, so now if the game flops, are you just gonna blame it on racism? Because now you could just say, well, all black people worked on it, so black people just made a bad game. You see? It could be switched around to be negative on black people. Like, trying to prevent the racism stuff anyways, it ends up being racist all the way. So if you just include everybody, then everybody's fault the game was shitty. She was the lead on an independent game called Validate and gave this interview 3 years ago. She's not a lead, but rather an entry-level associate for Black Panther with no say in hiring. We shouldn't shift blame to the team. The corporation is still fair game when the lie about her being lead dev was likely an attempt by racists to sabotage Black Panther. This interview is not about Black Panther. It's 3 years old, about her indie game. She didn't even work for Cliffhanger Games. She's only been working there for 9 months. She's not the lead dev. It's not a role that actually exists. That's because the whole video is on YouTube. She doesn't seem very bright in general. She's so delusional about the game, it's incredible. I just could never imagine myself approaching publishers asking for a $400,000 budget based on less than 10K followers. Dating game? That's just static images with text? Oh, so she actually does work on Black Panther. So either way, so yeah, so the premise of the story is not right? So like everything, like she is a Black Panther dev, but she's not the lead dev. But either way, it's like the principles, like even so, you could catch somebody being racist, you know, on the street, and then that will go viral or whatever, and then that person ends up going and getting fired. You know, this is kind of that thing. So like, she is a lead, she's a dev on the Black Panther game, right? And then you see her ideals are in that team still. So that's the kind of stuff that leads back to you. She did that interview 3 years ago. That's another lesson. Like, hey, don't be super racist or have these crazy freaking ideals where you're excluding people on skin color. You're being racist, and then have that video up, you know, even if it was a proposition for your game, but then that still traced back to you, and then it randomly goes viral because somebody else is trying to use that content to mess up the Black Panther project, and they're utilizing what you said previously and those things. And then now it's hurting the game you're actually working on, your actual current job, since that last proposition didn't work out how you wanted it to, right? You probably should have just deleted the video and then stop being racist, right? I don't know. Let me know in the comments about what you think, and then I'll see you in the next one. Peace.